in CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe. Ed, it's great to see you. What are the political implications for the Biden administration with this situation at the border?
Megan, Elaine, obviously this remains a top-of-mind concern. Anytime this kind of policy becomes front-page news again, polling shows consistently there's broad concern, disapproval with how the president's handling immigration. They understand that this is not only potentially an issue of government management and competency, something he ran on back in 2020, but also a sensitive issue to the base of the Democratic Party, to Latino voters across the country who sort of see this as a values check on the White House, but also for other voters who just are concerned more broadly about how immigration impacts the economy and society overall. And, you know, so it is something they're keen to keep an eye on here and try to demonstrate that they have a handle on. But it was notable that earlier this week, when asked about it by Arweesha Zhang and others in an impromptu press conference, the president said to anticipate chaos in the coming days, chaos that we've seen documented by Manny, by Nicole, and others there along the border, and chaos that may continue to ensue through the weekend into next week as people begin to hear on the other side of the border that there is the opportunity now, or at least perhaps a potentially easier opportunity to get across if you're trying to do so through less than official means.
We're going to continue to follow that. In the meantime, Ed, shifting gears, the president was supposed to meet with congressional leaders on the debt ceiling today, but it was postponed. So what does that say about the state of the talks right now?
Well, both sides seem to suggest that it means that they're working through details still, trying to lay out for each other's understanding where it is they're coming from, as if they didn't already know that in the public sphere. But it does seem like the White House, at least, is keen to figure out from House Republicans what exactly it is they'd be specifically trying to cut and where. The president has generally said he's always open to compromise on budgets, on spending decisions, which he believes is something that is to be resolved by the end of the fiscal year in late September, not as part of a negotiation over raising the debt limit, which he and others have pointed out has been done, in a sense, cleanly or with no strings attached and with very little debate for several decades. It's just when Democrats in office and Republicans are in control of at least one chamber of Congress, Democrats argue, that Republicans try to turn this into a broader debate. As some have said, they try to take hostages. And in this case, they believe it would be the U.S. economy. We should point out there's been yet another independent analysis today by what's called the Congressional Budget Office, the nonpartisan bean counters for lawmakers, that says, yes, indeed, it looks like the U.S. government could default as early as June 1. Maybe if it's able to somehow balance the books and keep close eye on the cash flow in those early months, it could get as far as July, early weeks. They could get as far as July. But either way, it's yet another analysis warning lawmakers, warning the White House and the broader economy that there could be real trouble come June 1st if there's no agreement. We expect the president and the top congressional leaders to meet again as early as Tuesday. It won't be Monday because the president won't be here in Washington, at least for most of the day. Watch for that meeting on Tuesday and whether it has any effect next week on his plans to go to Japan and Australia for the G7 meetings and other meetings regarding that emerging national security pact with Australia, the United Kingdom, and India.
All right. Ed O'Keefe breaking it all down for us outside the White House. Thank you.